This is probably the original one.
Hi, are you one of those fuckwads that has a fucking problem with my gay son getting married?
Oh yeah, and the FKH8.com, they like to use like lots of swearing and cursing. I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's just for shock value. But if you're offended by language, you might want to leave the stream because there's quite a lot of coarse language in these people's videos.
And my two moms. You fucking want to stop them from getting married?
Sup, Nick?
Then listen up, haters.
For some fucking straight talk on gay marriage.
I hate how they make kids swear too. It's just so unnatural. I hate that.
Number 1, if you don't want gay marriage,
Then don't marry someone with the same fucking junk in their undies.
pretty fucking simple.
Number 2.
And I hate I hate to be nitpicky, but it's like I hate every part of this. I hate the people they hired. I hate the way they speak. I hate the music. I hate how the music cuts so something really epic can be said, and they're like, you don't like gay marriage? Just don't marry a man. And it's like, how does that work? Oh, you don't like stealing? Just don't get stolen from. Hey, you have a problem with slavery? Just don't own a slave. Duh. Why do you have to interfere with someone else's right to own a slave? If you don't like slavery, don't own a slave. It's that simple. They do that with abortion all the time. If you don't like abortion, just don't have one. No, actually, we're not making an appeal to you. We're making an appeal to society. We're saying what is best for society on a moral basis is to not have gay marriage, is to not have any marriage outside of the traditional man and wife arrangement. One man, one woman. We're obviously just as much against polygamy and underage marriages and things like this as well, or, things like this. But yet they're like, oh, if it doesn't affect you, what's the big deal? And as we can see, when was this? 2010? Yeah, just 10 years later. Less than one generation, half a generation later, we already have, we're gonna train your children. What were they saying? I can't find it now. We're coming for your children. That's what it was.
If it were really all about protecting marriage,
You'd be fucking making divorce illegal for
Straight people.
Yo,
Not
Base.
fucking
Yo, Base, let's do that. I'm totally fine with making divorce illegal. Divorce was illegal in the US for quite a long time. There was only certain circumstances in which you could get divorced. Not like today where it's like, oh, you just don't like the person? Just divorce them. And I don't know too much about divorce. I haven't looked into it. But don't you still need a reason for divorce? Like, you can't just go to the court and be like, just getting divorced. There has to be something like irreconcilable differences or some justification, right? I don't know what that had to do with the argument, though, right? Like, I can be against gay marriage and for divorce, obviously.
Adam and Steve for getting a fucking bridal registry.
Don't fuck with my two gay dads.
Number 3.
The Christian fucking...
Chick can't even talk. This little girl is not even... she can't even speak proper English. She's so young, and they already have her swearing and propagating this disinformation.
Steve for getting a fucking
Look, she has like that little kid list.
bridal registry.
Don't fuck with my two gay dads.
Number 3.
The Christian fucking
So
right.
sad.
You've got it all fucking wrong.
Don't fucking talk to me about
family values.
When you work to fuck gays and their kids out of emergency hospital visitation.
What? What? Don't talk to me about family values if you don't want a gay guy seeing another gay guy in a hospital. Checkmate. Checkmate, Christians. I thought they were going to say something about adoption or something. Isn't that the go-to? Like how low all these guys' T is. Yeah, I know. It's like I said, low testosterone. It's a problem. Yeah, what's with that argument? I gotta fix the chat. It's all messed up. I really don't understand this. Oh, so, a gay person can't see their gay spouse in the emergency room, therefore we need gay marriage? What? That doesn't make any sense. What does that have to do with family values? We don't believe that two men being married is a marriage. We don't believe that's gay marriage. We say that's an illegitimate marriage. That's not real. That's made up. That's a social construct you guys made. The marriage between a man and a woman is a holy and spiritual act that is ordained by God himself. Anything outside of that is just some man-made, wishy-washy, degenerate, immoral practice. Okay, so two men getting married, a man and an animal, a grown man and a small child, like pedophilia. Any arrangement like that, we're like, well, we don't recognize that as anything legitimate. We only recognize what God has ordained as real, as legitimate.
Custody of their children.
Not that, I hate to be so, philosophical. This video obviously isn't trying to make these deep points, but the left has no logic, AJ. Stop overthinking it. Yeah, I know.
And health
I'm giving you guys good talking points, so you guys can argue better too.
insurance benefits.
Number 4.
Fucking hypocritical Republicans.
That's me! Although I'm not a Republican. Let's hear the argument against Republicans. They totally dismantled the Christian right in America, you know, in the last 10 seconds. Let's see what they do to Republicans now.
So it's cool for Rush Limbaugh to be on his fourth fucking wife? But
Who's Limbaugh?
if Kathy wants to marry Karen,
Then that's an attack on the institution.
hello.
Yeah, again, you guys are speaking my language. Yeah, if you want to make it illegal to marry like 4 different women, I'm fine with that. Yeah, like I want state-mandated Christianity. Is this your argument, guys? Yeah, is your argument, and this is kind of funny, I've never really heard the left do this like so much as the Republicans do. The Republicans will always say things like, oh, the left, they're the real racists. The left, oh, you guys, you know, you guys believe in cancel culture, but you won't cancel this person? Ho-ho. You know what I mean? Like Ben Shapiro was like, oh, you guys don't like me because I'm conservative? Well, guess what? The alt-right doesn't like me. They say that I'm Jewish and that's bad. So you guys are like the alt-right. Haha, checkmate. As if that's going to change anyone's mind, right? Now these guys are doing it where they're like, hey, Republicans, you guys actually haven't set the bar high enough. You guys should be against all sexual degeneracy. How do you like them apples? Yeah, that would be awesome. I agree. Yeah, let's talk to Republicans about that. Let's get them on board with this. If we can have that Puritan, that amount of like purity in our politics and our policies, that would be excellent. I would be thrilled with that.
The fuck does ripping up state constitutions and the rights they protect
Make this the land of the free.
And again, I don't get the point because the whole idea was that the states could make their own laws regarding marriage. It wasn't up to the Supreme Court to make that decision for every single state, and yet that's what happens. So if you're talking about marriage, it's like, yeah, that's a state issue, not a federal government one. If you want to get into the weeds of
So
it.
if you hate gay marriage,
it's really because you hate gay love.
Yes, you're right. Okay, I think these guys are onto something. Yeah, you get it. Why would we hate gay marriage if we wouldn't have a problem with gays? Yeah, you guys are right.
wanna fucking hate this.
That was fast, dude.
Get the fuck over it.
Some dudes marry dudes.
Some chicks marry chicks.
Get the fuck.
Over it.
I'm gay.
I'm straight. Well, not really.
I'm straight, and we're standing together.
To fuck hate.
Across the country,
In the courtroom and at the ballot box.
It's the right to marry who you love.
We're gonna frick hate. We're gonna frick hate. We're gonna frick the institution of marriage. We're gonna frick your kids. We're gonna teach your kids tolerance and take them out at night and turn them gay at protests. Like what was said in the last video, right?
Love is under attack.
But we're fundraising for that fight.
Sure.
Marry this shirt.
do good.
Could you imagine seeing someone actually wear this shirt? Man, such a lazy attempt at capitalism. And like, I mean, I love capitalism. I like capitalism and all, but there's a part of me who thinks there's some dude rubbing his hands together here, you know, at this FKH8.com, and he's like, oh, I know, we're gonna make a video all about how we're gonna make a video about gays and how progressive we are. We're gonna sell shirts, and those liberals will eat it right up. You know what I mean? We'll get these gays who will come on for free. We don't have to pay them because they believe in it ideologically. We'll make a video saying, yeah, homophobia is bad, and we're gonna swear to get publicity, and then we're gonna sell our shirts. Hey, I mean, good marketing scheme. I bet the guy who produced this video is straight. Can we find out who their producer is? Saying here. All right, well, that was terrible. I'm interested in this one. The fight for equal rights continues.
Hey, you want a history lesson? In 1866, our country decided that I could be a citizen, like white people.
In 1920,
So, so what? I like the Roman way of citizenship. I watched this documentary. I haven't studied Rome like at all, so take this with a grain of salt. But I was watching this TV show once, and there's this like Roman dude, and he's like, "Oh, it took me 10 years of military service to earn my citizenship here in Rome, and now I'm throwing it away because of whatever." He threw his citizenship away for some girl or something. I don't know. But I remember thinking, Man, 10 years of military service to be a citizen? That's pretty epic. Like, you really have to serve your nation in order to be a citizen. Like, to be a citizen would be something you're really proud of, right? It's like, wow, I worked hard for this. I don't think there's a problem with that, having high standards for being citizens and removing citizens' rights from a lot of citizens in the US, giving them, human rights and everything too, right? Like, the Bill of Rights can apply to them. But these, like, rights to vote and things like that, why can't that have a higher bar outside of just, you're 18 years old and we're born here, congratulations, you can influence government. Like, you haven't added anything of value to the nation. You can literally sit inside, as most 1 to 17-year-olds do, sit inside in your room all day, and then you turn 18 and all of a sudden you have the right to influence government more than myself, or someone who's been living here 80 years, who's been in the military and served government and done, national service. There's something that is inherently not right about that. I should have never read Republic by Plato. It's Plato, right? Plato's Republic? Yeah.
You decided I
Black building on
finally
democracy.
vote.
In 1964, you made it illegal to discriminate against me because of my skin color.
It wasn't just because of skin color. And look, the Civil Rights Act, there was couldn't you discriminate both ways? Like, you could be a black business owner and be like, I'm not serving you because you're white. It wasn't like a law that was like, this law is to hate black people. And nothing to do with that. And the proponents of this bill were very clear, at least in the hiring practices, that they're like, oh, if you want to fire someone for any reason at all, you're allowed to. Now, is that what you can do today? No, of course not. People will look at the Civil Rights Act and they'll say, oh, because of the Civil Rights Act of, 1964, you're not allowed to fire this person because if you do, that's racist. Even if they messed up at work and you fire them, they can be like, oh, you did it because I'm black. And then you get sued. And that's why we have all these diversity trainings at Starbucks and, Coca-Cola. Because now, when they inevitably fire some Mexican guy or whatever, the Mexican dude can't be like, oh, you fire me because you're racist, man. It's like, oh, no. We do diversity training year-round. We give $1 million a year to BLM. Well, we're clearly not racist. That's besides the point, but...
1990, you said I should be able to get around in public just like anyone else.
I don't think these people know how generalizations work. Like, America was not built for disabled people, and America was not built for women and black people and any of these, like, interest groups. It was built for, like, the American. And unfortunately, the American was not like a black crippled woman, okay? So, of course, our laws don't surround these people. And instead of being grateful that America has said, actually, we're going to be progressive and allow extra rights for you people, any of these groups of people, instead of being grateful for that, they get all snobby about it, like they're entitled to all of these benefits that America has to offer. And no other nation outside of the West is as generous with this. Take China, for example. Does China say, oh, we have a lot of Muslims. We have a lot, what are they called? You're gay or whatever? The you're a gay Muslims? What's their name? Eurogays? Whatever. There's all the gay Muslims or whatever in China. And everyone's like, oh, China is putting them in concentration camp. And it's like, well, yeah, what do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to say, oh, come into our society. Here's some Qurans. Feel free to have your religious freedom and pray 5 times a day at the assembly line. No, of course not. They're like, no, China was built for Chinese people. You're not Chinese. You don't get the same rights as Chinese people. Give up all your identity and become Chinese and maybe we'll talk, right? That's what happens in most countries. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing. But we should recognize that America has been quite lenient in their laws and quite progressive in their laws and over history, very empathetic and giving out these blessings to other groups of people, to the point now where today we are giving like healthcare to non-American citizens, illegal immigrants who cross the border. We house them, we take care of them, we give them court trials on our dollar. We deport them on our dollar or keep them here on our dollar. All of these things are gifts that we're giving to people who aren't even American, right? So maybe a thank you would be nice. This is what happens when you're nice and you lend your hand out to people. The founding fathers had a totally different approach to dealing with these issues. They said, no, America is not a black country. We're not going to give rights to blacks. No, America is not a country for women to be running. We're not going to give women the right to vote either. And America is not a country for disabled people. Why would we give extra rights for disabled people? It's like, you can't walk up the stairs. That's not our problem. Now, again, I think it's good that we can do some progressive means like adding ramps or whatever. but can a thank you be in order instead of criticism? And this was a disaster right here. Okay, I know that's not much of a hot take, like every single right-winger is saying this now, but really, you know, you look at the policies made after the 1920s, total mess. And women are not meant to be leaders. There are some who can be, but generally speaking, women are not good at leading. I was thinking about, talk about a hot take. I was thinking the other day about Martin Luther King. And, you know, we have a whole day for him. And he's like, what do we have? We have like 2 days for people, for like individual people, which is like Columbus Day and Martin Luther King Day, right? And I think before we had Washington Day and then Lincoln Day, and then we merged them together into President's Day. So now there's only 2 days for individual people. And one of them, throughout all of American history, we have Columbus, who founded the Americas, and then Martin Luther King Jr. And what did MLK do? He made it so racist white people are forced to serve black people, and racist black people are forced to serve whites. Is that really, like, that big of an accomplishment in all of American history? Like, we're going back to, like, what, the 1400s or 1500s? You know, and throughout all that time, we have Columbus, who founded the entire continent for Europeans. And then the guy who made it so businesses were forced to serve people they didn't want to serve. Yeah, those are totally equal. There was not a single person I could think of throughout all of American history who was more deserving of a day. Again, and it goes back to that thing where whites are empathetic. Whites are going to say, oh, but we're going to show how progressive we are, we're going to show how respectful we are, and we're going to give a black person a day. And who better than Martin Luther King, the communist, you know, who had affairs on his wife? Who better than him? Yeah, he was a gang rapist. You know, and a communist, which is, you know, debatably even worse than that. So anyways, it's like, yeah, let's give him a day. You could have given, like, even someone like, you know, Harriet Tubman is more deserving of a day than MLK. Can we at least agree on that? What's the point of this video anyways? Oh, here we go.
We've made progress, but the fight for full equality continues.
Who else needs to be equal? I mean, really. The only group I can think of is illegal immigrants that we can grant more rights to. And soon enough, I mean, I'm sure they're going to be voting. Ask a libertarian, they'll say, no taxation without representation. You know how many boomers I've talked to who got mad at me because I said, like I said before, not everyone in America should be voting. Voting should be for like 5% of the population, maybe. Like at the time of the founding, when only 20% of the US population could vote, and that's when it was like 98% white or whatever, and now it's what? 40% non-Hispanic white or something? Or at least the children, whatever. So maybe like 5% of the population today, the founding fathers would say are qualified to be voters. I'd say that's fair, maybe even less. And, you know, these boomers act all shocked, and they're like, this country was founded on no taxation, no representation. I'm like, the founding fathers viewed black people as property. What are you talking about? No, they didn't care about taxation and representation. That was justification to go to war. It had absolutely nothing to do with voting policy, you idiot.
To fire me because I'm gay. What's our year?
What's our year?
Can we have something where you can't fire someone for being Christian, you can't fire someone for being like racist or homophobic? If you want to have equal rights for everyone, can we talk about those rights? How about you're just not allowed to fire anyone, period? How about that?
Speak out for full equality and stand out against discrimination.
It doesn't get better. Video for people who hate gays.
With all the It Gets Better video.
It's Shane Dawson. What? Oh my goodness. America's like 56% white. Oh yeah, okay. Maybe I was thinking about the kids in America. Like Gen Z is 40% white.
Videos that have been made. We wanted to speak out about the forgotten victims.
People who hate gays.
For you fucking homophobes, it doesn't get better. Girl, it does not.
And again, the low testosterone, right? This is insane. I can't believe how flamboyant men can
Get
act.
better. It doesn't get better. For example, gay marriage. A majority of Americans and even half of young Republicans
Now support the fight to legalize love.
So you trying to cock block Adam and Steve's? Big fat gay wedding is getting big time bitch slapped. Hello? Gays in the military.
Do they? I really don't understand. Okay, I think I get it. I think the frick hate people. They don't actually care about anything. They're just trying to make money, and they know that lefties will buy whatever you push on them. That they'll feel like, oh, we're saving the world by buying a T-shirt, right? So, you know, ironically made in countries where gay marriage is illegal, places like China, where they beat gays to death. They're like, that's where they make their shirts that these liberals are buying. Very funny. But as far as the people in the video, it's like, do they think they're making a difference? Like, do they think Republicans will watch this and be like, oh, you guys are right? I really don't understand the point of these videos.
That doesn't get better. So you were cool if gay soldiers died for your freedom?
As long as they didn't get their freedom.
Love the flag but hate the fags? A homo-hating hypocrite that's full of shit. Girl, fatigues never look so fabulous.
Don't you just hate it?
Neener. Gay adoption. It doesn't get better. So you would rather a kid be an orphan
And have two daddies.
Sorry, betcha.
Yep, I would. You see, the thing is, with adoption, people don't understand. Every child who is, like, not disabled in the US is adopted. Find me a non-disabled child who is not adopted in the US. Okay, anyways.
More and more gay couples are adopting kids.
Abandoned by straight people.
Make way for the gabies.
You get a gaby. You get a gaby.
Pray the gay away? It doesn't get better.
No matter how much you preach to kids, the way they were born is a sin.
Thousands of schools have gay-straight alliance.
Alright, this is getting very tedious. There's nothing to debunk here. They're just being annoying.
A bad word for a good cause.
Teachers can't talk about homos.
Pretty offensive to say around kids.
The gay? That's not one of them. So why?
Wait a minute, is that the kid from the, is that the gamer from the Cartoon Network video? The OGs here will remember the Cartoon Network video. It's on my YouTube channel. This looks like the gamer from it who has a transgender dad.
One of them. So why the
Does the state of Tennessee
Keep working to pass a law.
a law?
making it a crime
Crime
For teachers to even
mention the word gay.
What? Kids, there's
Man, the editing of this is terrible.
no such thing as homos.
The teachers can't talk about homos law? What would be illegal?
Teaching acceptance?
Crime!
Stopping a bully's anti-gay name?
And again, they say acceptance like it's an inherently good thing. No, just teaching people to accept things is not good. Okay? Take, for example, bestiality, pedophilia, something that, for the next couple years at least, we can all agree is bad, okay, until the left finally justifies these things. Teaching people to accept these individuals is not a good thing. We should make laws against that. We shouldn't allow our teachers in our schools to propagate to our children how pedophilia is okay, and we should accept that, and how we should be accepting of people who engage in bestiality, okay? So in the same way, I know they don't see it as anything similar, but from a Christian worldview, any marriage outside of a man and woman relationship, anything outside of that arrangement is degenerate and shouldn't be taught to children, okay? So being accepting of any form of marriage outside of what I just described, we would be against, okay? Acceptance in and of itself is not a good thing.
Crime.
Like talking about the latest plot twist on Glee?
Busted!
Gabbing about my Bieber fever?
Cock blocked.
You said homo, we're calling the popo!
Even if gay students are bullied into slitting their own wrists.
A teacher's hands are tied. Teaching up hate has a lot to do with the suicide rate.
Bullying isn't allowed in schools. You think you can bully people for being gay? It's like you push a kid and you're like, "Ah, you have ugly hair," and the teacher's like, "Hey, stop that." And you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then you do it again, and you're like, "Stupid homo." And they're like, "Oh, that's okay. You keep it up. That's all right." Oh, it's like when they say, "We want equal rights." It's like, you have equal rights. You have an equal right to marry a woman. That's what you have an equal right to do. You want extra rights. You want a new law made just for you. Equal rights means we're all allowed to do the same thing. We're all allowed as men to marry women. Simple. We do have equal rights. You want extra rights.
You wanna make it illegal to say gay?
We're gonna fucking say it anyway.
Yay!
Gay motherfucker.
Join the Say Gayathon.
On Facebook and Twitter.
Who was it? Was it Socrates who said that you can't run a country? It may have been Plato who said you can't run a country with men who don't have enough testosterone because they're too effeminate. Watching this video, I 100% agree with that. Which one of these people would you want leading your nation? Leading anything. Leading a police squadron, leading a civil rights movement, leading, a military platoon, leading a country as president or congressperson. Really, watch and think which one of these people would be best suited to be a leader.
Like this video on Facebook or tweet it on Twitter. FKH8.com will give 25 cents up to $25,000.
Ka-ching! To the fight for equal rights
In Tennessee.
I'm gonna totally Facebook this. Oh, I forgot my password.
I'm gay.
I'm straight.
And we're standing together to hate.
We've raised over $250,000 through t-shirt sales.
This top is so gay.
Do good and look good doing it.
Get your gear and get involved.
But I don't get why gay guys work out so much, because your the best way to gain testosterone is through athletic activities. The best way to get your T up is by athletic activities. And weightlifting is like the best athletic activity to do to boost your T. So I don't understand how these super effeminate gays are always lifting all the time. It's like, where does all their testosterone go? I don't know.
Straight against hate.
Don't be hating on the homos.
Like, can you act... Oh, that's gross. Can you act a certain way to give yourself more estrogen? Like, if you act really flamboyantly, does that impact your amount of testosterone? Is that like science or no?
Straight against hate.
Don't be hating on the homos.
You like it in black.
Band together.
Band together.
To hate.
Gay, gay, gay. This is broken. Gay. Ow.
Again, which of these people would you vote to be president? These people will run our country into the ground. People don't understand that. And I'm not saying this even from a homophobic perspective, although I am homophobic, but from like a rational perspective, from like analyzing a nation and finding out what's the best way to run a country. How on earth could you come to the conclusion that these people should have the right to vote? Okay? People like this. Granted, this dude is like probably some underage kid who they solicited to be in their video, but in a few years, you really think this guy should be making decisions to run a country? That's so absurd to me. Who in the right mind came up with this idea? The Founding Fathers knew better. They were like, no, we don't want young people voting. You have to be a property owner, okay? And we understand that some people, like Hamilton, who was very young, what was he, 18 or 21 at the time of the founding, and he contributed so much. There are some young people who are the exception, so we're going to say landowners, okay, to involve those like really high IQ young people. You have to be a man, because we don't want effeminate women making decisions, emotional decisions about the country. You have to be a white man too. You have to be white, and you're not even like Irish white or Slavic white, but like Northern European white, Northwestern European white, because that's who founded the country, and we want our policies to reflect the founding people of this nation, right? Like they thought through this very carefully, not for like reasons of racism or anything like that necessarily, but because they're like, what's the best way to run this country? And they made decisions on that basis, not on the basis of feelings and emotions and empathy, but on the basis of practicality.
Fever.
So again,
Blocked.
like, do you really want this guy running the country?
Said,
I don't.
We're calling the popo.
And if you lived 300 years ago, even 100 years ago, you could come out and say, no, why would this guy be running the country? He's totally effeminate. We shouldn't have women running the country or men who act like them. Duh. Like, it's so obvious, right? But yet, we live in this totally politically correct age where you can't say basic truths like this. You can't just say, yeah, we don't want emotional, estrogen-filled people running the country. We need strong men who are leading the nation. And this is part of the reason why our nation's collapsing. Man,